Good afternoon. I'm going to talk to you about fluency routines so that you can increase the reading ability of your students with this daily instruction. One thing to remember with fluency is that attitude really is everything for your kiddos. They need to know that their IQ may be important, but they also need help in understanding the skills that reading is an art, it's not an academic, and who's going to nurture that reading culture inside of your classroom so that they can improve their attitude, which will inflect on their fluency. So fluency is really the only thing that will make students better, is more reading. We know that our students have to read at a certain rate for comprehension, according to our STAR standards. And if we have a struggling reader in our classroom, in the comprehension part, the first question we need to ask is, are they even fluent? We want to fix fluency first, then we can work on comprehension. Research shows that when you build the fluency, we must provide the following. We have to give students time to listen to good reading, to hear good reading, and to give them opportunity for practice. Students will start to build that confidence that they need for a fluent reader. So fluency has 4 parts. They need to hear good reading. We have to explicitly teach the skills of reading. We have to let our students practice them, and then we have to let it transfer. It is possible to increase the fluency. We have to set up some fluency routines in our classrooms to intentionally practice every single day. So the fluency routines, repeated reading is still the golden standard for building fluency. We want to use one piece of reading for the entire week. With our I do and we do pieces, this is something that I as a teacher would do. I'm going to directly teach these while I model. I'm going to phrase text, intonation, and expressing the text, getting my mouth ready to read text, and also knowing that the text needs to be at the student's independent or instructional level. If the text is too difficult, the fluency instruction will not increase like we want it to. With we do, this is the hearing the good reading, we're going to do audio recordings, read aloud from the teachers, echo readings from each other, and choral readings with each other. Repeated readings again is choral readings, phrasing our text. We're going to show students how to read text in phrases, partner reading, and independent reading. And with the you do, we really want our students to have that time challenge, fluency challenges, and really increasing and measuring that fluency so they see success throughout the fluency week. So when we're talking about fluency weekly routine, here it is laid out for you in instructional priorities, is we really want to teach reading accuracy, fluency, phrasing to attend to end punctuation, reading with phrasing and expression, self-correction of those word recognition errors, and inflection. So on Mondays, I'm going to model one of my instructional priorities. On Tuesday, I'm going to model that same instructional priority and have students echo read and choral read with me. On Wednesday, we're going to review that instructional priority, and then we're going to practice it with an echo read, and then I'm going to let partners choral read that instructional practice. On Thursday, we're going to review that practice again, and then we're going to choral read it together, and then have partners choral read, and we're going to take another break the record. On Friday, we're going to final review of the instructional priority or practice with a partner echo read. Then students get to do that practice independently and a final break the record. Let's talk a minute about break the record. This little piece here gives students the opportunity to measure their fluency and set goals to increase that fluency. This is a way that you can hold your students accountable for fluency, that you can let them set goals and see if they're going to be successful at fluency. Again, the instructional priorities that you would start on Monday with your teacher model would be reading accurately or reading phrasing, reading expression, how to self-correct word errors, reading inflective endings like punctuation marks, such as question marks, statements with periods, or exclamation mark, excitement. So we want to mix up our fluency materials that we use. We don't always want to use the same thing. Some I'm really good is poetry. We want to keep those materials at 5 to 200 words. We want to make sure that our students have the opportunity to read a variety and range of fluent text. You can do that through poetry, current events, news articles that are short with news ELA, commonly misspelled word lists where you can make a 5 by 5 word list, or sight word lists or grade level pieces. With grade level pieces, you want it to be something that they've already encountered earlier in the year, and you're just bringing it back for fluency purposes. With fluency, we talked about instructional priorities, so these are a little bit more in detail of the instructional priorities. With speed and accuracy, we want to model how quickly students should be able to read, and we're going to give that increased word exposure. With intonation and expression, we want to model how the reader varies their voice in tone, in pitch, and volume to reflect the meaning of the text. We want to read like you speak. And with phrasing, we want to show students how to group words together for meaning so that they're not reading on choppy word-by-word phrases. So you'll see here with this phrasing shows students how to properly phrase their text and group words together so that their reading becomes more fluent. Lastly, I want to show you the break the record that you can easily make. I also pulled it off of Lead Forward. It actually has 3 pieces of places where you can do first reading, second reading, third reading. The important part about the break the record is that it allows for students to take some ownership of their fluency and for them to be able to understand how their fluency increases and setting those records for themselves. I hope this has helped you with establishing a fluency routine in your classroom. Please do lots of different fluency activities with your students. Multiple ways for your students to gain fluency is the best way for them to increase that readability they need to be successful on STAR and other grade level tests.